Welcome to the Explainer, everyone. Today, we're looking at an absolutely epic collision of ancient warfare and tabletop strategy. We're diving deep into the historical battle of Panormus and discovering exactly how that history is brought to life on the hex grid using the beloved Commands and Colors board game system. If you love history and you love a good strategy game, you are 100% in the right place. Let's get into it.
So, how do you defeat an unstoppable army of 140 war elephants? No, seriously, take a second and imagine the terrifying historical reality of that. You're standing on a dusty battlefield, armed with nothing but ancient weaponry, and you're facing an actual rampaging armored beast. It's like a living tank. That is exactly the nightmare the Roman army was up against. Let's look at how this incredibly dire situation even came to be.
Okay, so to really understand the massive stakes of Panormus in 250 BC, we have to rewind just a tiny bit. 3 years earlier, there was a huge Roman defeat known as the disaster Epigratis. We're talking total wipeout. Out of the entire army commanded by the Roman leader Regulus, only a few hundred men actually made it back to Rome. And those survivors, they brought back horrifying stories of being trampled by elephants and just cut to pieces by cavalry. This created a deep, paralyzing fear, like a collective PTSD regarding elephants, throughout the Roman ranks, leading right up to the events at Panormus. And honestly, that fear, absolutely justified. By 251 BC, the Carthaginian commander Hasdrubal brought a terrifying veteran force to Sicily. We are talking 25,000 men and 140 elephants. To put that into perspective, that is a staggering amount of battlefield power for the ancient world. Because of those fresh psychological scars from Bagratis, the terrified Romans were avoiding pitched battles at all costs. They were literally petrified of facing those elephants and cavalry out in the open. But, in June of 250 BC, a Roman commander named Caecilius Metellus realized, hey, we can't hide forever, we have to face Hasdrubal at Panormus. But instead of meeting the elephants in an open field, which would be suicide, Metellus devised this brilliant multi-stage tactical gambit. Step 1, he built a trench right in front of the city and stocked it with a massive supply of missiles. Step 2, he sent out his lightly armed troops, the Velides, to deliberately goad Hasdrubal's elephants. Step 3, the trap is sprung. The Roman troops retreat back to the trench in apparent panic. The Punic army takes the bait and pursues in complete disorder, thinking they're about to score a super easy victory. And finally, step 4, as the elephants approach the trench, Metellus launches a massive, concentrated missile barrage right into the advancing beasts. The sensory chaos on that battlefield must have been just unimaginable. The war elephants, they completely panic. They recoil in sheer terror from this massive missile barrage, and instead of crushing the Romans, they turn around and rampage right back through Hasdrubal's own Punic army. It's the ultimate friendly fire disaster. Seeing the enemy formations completely shattered by their own beasts, Metellus' legionnaires sallied out from the city and completely routed the shaken Carthaginian forces. He literally took their greatest advantage and turned it into a fatal weakness. Now, the aftermath of this battle is incredibly dramatic, and frankly, it's pretty grim. According to the histories, nearly all the elephants were captured and later slaughtered in the circus to entertain the crowds back in Rome. It was a brutal end for the animals, for sure, but it signified a massive victory. Actually, more than just a victory. The Battle of Panormus was the last major land battle of the entire war. 7 years later, at the Battle of the Agates, the 24-year war finally came to an end. Okay, let's dive into this. We know the history, but how do you actually translate the terror of a rampaging elephant and the brilliance of a hidden trench into a playable game? Let's pivot from the historical documentary side of things straight to the tabletop. Specifically, we're looking at the official scenario published in C3i magazine for the Commands and Colors Ancient system. What is absolutely fascinating here is how the scenario designers decided to balance this asymmetrical nightmare. Both armies actually have an equal hand size of 5 command cards, but Rome's crucial historical trap, that prepared trench and the goading tactics we just talked about, is elegantly simulated with a single, incredibly powerful rule. The Roman army gets to move first. They get to dictate the initial terms of the engagement, exactly like Metellus did. It's such a clean way to model the history. So what's the goal on the table? It's pretty straightforward. You just need to secure 6 victory banners to win the game, which perfectly simulates the utter rout of either army. So you're probably thinking, does Rome's first move advantage completely break the game? Or is the sheer power of Carthage's elephants enough to overwhelm it? Well, looking at the community data, kind of like doing a live sports analysis here, out of 41 logged plays, this scenario is incredibly balanced. It's sitting at a 46% to 54% split. I mean, that is practically a coin toss. It all comes down to the skill of the commander.
And this right here is exactly what makes tabletop gaming so incredible. When you look at a log of recent community matches, you have tacticians from all over the place still fighting the Battle of Panormus over 2 millennia later. The history isn't just sitting dusty in a textbook. It's actively being tested and played out on tables all around the world. The scenario notes actually end with this fantastic, really dramatic challenge from the designer. It says, "The stage is set, the battle lines are drawn, and you are in command. Can you change history?" It's a direct invitation for us to step right into the shoes of either Metellus or Hasdrubal and see if we have what it takes. So, knowing the terrifying stakes of Baghdad, the sheer scale of those 140 war elephants, and the absolute brilliance of that tactical trench, what are you gonna do? Will you repeat Metellus' trap and secure victory for Rome? Or will you rewrite history for Carthage? The hex grid is waiting for you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.